received a message from somebody who was apparently displeased with my latest review. His message contained the following, among several cuss words and insults. Your review of Super Paper Mario made me want to barf my eyes out my nostrils. I would pay good money to see that, considering it's physically impossible. Exaggerating doesn't get the point across more. A simple, I don't like how you said Super Paper Mario is the worst Paper Mario game would have done. Then this person said the only way for me to redeem myself and keep him as a viewer would be to review the worst game I've ever played and not yet reviewed without trashing it. Even though I couldn't care less about keeping the guy as a viewer, I decided to accept this challenge. Why the frick not? If you'll excuse me, I have to go rip my eyes out so as to avoid actually looking at this game again. It's Kirby's Epic Yarn. Kirby's Epic Yarn starts out the same as any Kirby game, with the title character eating something. This something, however, ends up turning him into yarn and trapping him in a strange yarn world. Since he can't inhale things, meaning this might as well not be a Kirby game, you have to use a whip and transform into a car, submarine, robot, penguin on a surfboard, and much more that doesn't even deserve a mention. So basically, he's a shape-shifting Indiana Jones, made of yarn. The main story is that Kirby is accompanied by Prince Fluff, a resident of this strange world of yarn, and now they must stop the evil Yin Yarn who is trying to turn the real world into yarn. Geez, how many times have I said yarn? You fight several bosses along the way, as usual, with glaringly obvious weaknesses. And as required for a Kirby game, you also battle Mennonite and King Dedede, both of which are, spoiler alert, actually being brainwashed. And spoiler alert, it's actually kind of funny I mentioned this might as well not be a Kirby game. The idea was planned to be an original game starring Prince Fluff as the main character with no Kirby whatsoever. The idea was rejected, so the developers decided to put Kirby in it to make it good. Gamers, are you even listening? The developers outright admitted that this game is only even somewhat good because it's a Kirby game. Might as well have shown up at E3 and yelled into the microphone, Kirby makes everything sucky better, and stole our wallets, which they pretty much do anyway. But back to the actual game. The soundtrack is relatively good, and the graphics are above average, but this is to be expected since it's for the Wii. Unfortunately, it's just too easy. On my first try, without using walkthroughs, strategy guides, or even reading the instruction manual, I breezed through the entire game in one day. Well, more like half the game, since half of it is actual plot, while the other half is getting apartment furniture. Screw that, the only furniture I need is a bed, a comfy chair, and a computer. I have all that. I tend to like Kirby games, but this one put me off. It was even worse than Canvas Curse, amazingly. Kirby fanboys, you may fire at my house at will. Final score, 3 out of 10. Also, note to the guy who messaged me, you're welcome. If you think this was trashy, you don't know what else I could have said.